All right. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sarah on here. One moment. My computer does not want to work today correctly. And here you go. We're putting you on presenter mode here. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. Thank you.
All right. And with that, I will go ahead and hand the show off to you. All yours.
Thank you, sir. I'm sharing my screen.
Yep. Looks good. I can see it.
Nice.
You can go ahead and hit the little hide button at the bottom there too if you want to get rid of that.
Yes. Oh, this is 2025.
We're really ambitious here, aren't we? 2026.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. During the previous session, we have seen many users from US also join the session. I'm sure pretty much the same case for this session. Again, thanks for the opportunity. And my name is Saravanan Rajagopal, and people call me Sara in short. I'm the training partner manager here at Palo Alto Networks, covering Asia Pacific and Japan region. And I also have my colleague Jujitsa Misalovic in Europe and Lisa Torre in US. And I'm representing education departments here to give you some updates on what we are doing at the education department, specifically for the certification part and how to map the certifications to some of the instructor-led trainings and digital learning we have so that we can help you prepare for the exam. So once again, like Charles said, this is not an education or training session. This is like giving you some updates on what type of exam available, because we have made a lot of changes to the existing exam to the newer framework. So we believe this will be very useful for you to learn on the newer framework. So let's get started. So the agenda for today is I would like to give you some highlights on current certification offering and the new certification framework that we have created in Palo Alto Networks, and how do we apply some of the digital learning and instructor-led training we have to that new certification framework. And after that, I would like to give you some updates, or probably I would say these are the tips on how to get prepared for the exam. And don't expect too much from here. A lot of heavy lifting is on your side, but here I would like to highlight on what are the resources available for you to prepare for the exam, and of course, some little bit tips there as well. Okay, many of you probably very familiar with the exam like PCNSA, PCNSE for the firewall, and some of you, if you are a partner, you're probably familiar with PCNSC, the Charlie exam on the professional services part. And there are many other exams like this in this little square box. These are the older exam icon that we have. The previous exams are more on a product-based, product focus. So we have one exam for Prisma Access, XOR, for example, this one. And we have one exam for XDR and one exam for cloud security, previously known as Prisma Cloud. Now we have changed it to become a Cortex Cloud. And we had two exams for firewall, PCNSA and PCNSC. And all this exam will be phased out and will be replaced with the newer exam. Then if you see this here, these are the badges for the newer exam. And PCNSA is one of the first exam that we have to discontinue, and it's been discontinued on 31st August. And similar to that, PCNSE, we will be end of life this exam on July 31st. You still have time to take the exam. If you take the exam, like let's say tomorrow, your exam is still valid for the next 2 more years. But after July 31st, if you try to log into the Pearson VUE, which is our exam portal, and the exam won't be listed there anymore. Moving forward, everything will be the newer exam. And it will take some time for us to update PCCSE and PCSAE, but most of the other exams are already been updated, and we will talk about this in the coming slides in more detail. All right. So then, why the newer framework? One of the main reason Palo Alto Networks created the newer framework is the team decided to create a role-based certification framework for the users. And primarily, the role split it into two for most of the products. One is engineer, the other one is analyst level. So if your job role is related to engineer, which is day one of the product implementations, basic configurations, enablement part, and you need to take the engineer level exam. The analyst level, on the other hand, is the kind of day two when it comes to the deployment phase, which means the product is already designed, deployed, configured. The next thing is for you to log in and manage and perform analysis for the day-to-day operations. So most of the products here in Palo Alto Networks will have two exams, most of them, not all. For now, most of them. One is engineer level, the other one is analyst level. And we also give you for those who wanted to start from scratch, from very fresh, we are giving you a newer framework called cybersecurity foundational level and all the way up to architect level. That's a new framework that we have created, which I'm going to talk to you in the coming slides. So let's have a look at the newer framework in more detail. The entry-level exam and learning path that we're going to create, or we already created here at Palo Alto Network, is called foundational level. This is like a very intro level. And the next thing is professional level. This is like a high-level overview of that product. Let's say a network security professional logging into the firewall and see what's happening in that network environment, but he's not much familiar about how the firewall been deployed, and he's also not very familiar with how to perform a deep analysis. This is like a professional or someone working in the industry try to logging into the solution and have a look how it looks like. So pretty much basic operations of that solution. The next thing is about specialist level. Most of the people in this room or in this session here today falls into this category called specialist level. And the next higher tier that we're going to have it, the architect level, which is, we don't have it as of today, but we're going to create it in the future. And let's have a look a little bit detail on this, each one of these four levels. Foundational level, this is fundamental, like I said earlier. And if you are, let's say if someone say, I'm a fresh graduate from the university, just graduated, I'm looking for a job and I wanted to know more about network security or cloud security. So this foundation level give a combination of network, cloud, or even SecOps all together, saying that fundamental knowledge. So we have announced two exams for this. One is called Cybersecurity Apprentice. This is more like a vendor agnostic exam and learning path for this. And the other one is Cybersecurity Practitioner. This is like an applied science of the solutions that we have to the vendor agnostic approach. And which means student who taking this exam, will be seeing Palo Alto Network solutions applied to the problems and deployments. So for the foundation level, we're going to introduce only digital learning. There won't be any instructor-led training for foundational level. So we are welcoming all customers, partners, and many of the university graduates or university students, undergraduate who are part of this Palo Alto Networks Academy program are also more than welcome to attempt for self-paced e-learning and then practice, sit for the exam. The next level is professional level. And we wanted to create one for each, one for network security, one for SecOps, one for cloud security. For cloud security, we just launched it yesterday. I forgot to update in this slide, but in my coming slide, you'll be seeing it is already updated with the newer logo. So we'll be having, once again, one for network security, one for security operations, SecOps, one for cloud security. And like I mentioned earlier, this is on a high-level overview on how to operate, manage, and provide kind of a level one basic level support on the solutions. For people like you, most of the people in this room, like I said earlier, we're going to introduce two levels of the exam depending on your role. If your role is performing deployment on basic installation, configuration, data center administrators, So you probably falls into the category called engineer. And the next level is analyst level, where people logging into the solution which is already designed and deployed and configured, and they're going to operate this product or solution in more greater detail by performing deep analysis. Or some people maybe falls into both categories. If you ask me where to start with, I would say engineer is the day one, analyst is the day two of the implementation. So you can start with day one if you think you wanted to learn everything. Or otherwise, if you think, oh, I'm good with deployment part, I wanted to go into the detailed analysis part, then you can go for the analyst level exam. And for specialist level, we will have instructor-led training, digital learning, and um, what we call hands-on lab when you're attending the instructor-led training before sit for the exam. Whereas professional and foundational level, we will not have instructor-led training, at least for now. And we don't have it in our roadmap for now. And the highest level or highest tier certifications we're going to have is architect level. And we will going to have one for network security, one for SecOps, and one for cloud security. So when we talk about recertification logic, let's say within the network security framework or network security platform or category, if you renew your highest tier of the certification, it will auto recertify any exam which is still valid as of the time you're taking the exam. So that is the logic. You take the highest exam, and anything below that will become automatically renewed within that category. We will have like a network security category, SecOps category, and the cloud security, which I'm going to explain this in the next slide. So let's have a look at the framework along with the instructor-led trainings that we have for you. If you think like, okay, exams are beautiful, how do I start prepare for this? These are the 4 tiers of or levels of exam that we have in Palo Alto Networks. Before I talk about which type of training we have, let's try to map this level into a product and platform. There are multiple products, and we categorize these products into 2 major platform or category in Palo Alto Networks. And that's called, one of them is called network security platform. The other one is SecOps platform or security operation platform, or NetSec in short, SecOps in short for the SecOps. So within network security platform, there are so many products. There are many. You can see them in our website, but I'm just putting here some of the key product here called Firewall, Prisma Access, and Prisma SD-WAN. There are other products, let's say, for example, CDSS, Cloud Delivered Security Services, and data loss preventions, CASBs, and solutions like that. These are the underlying solution which has been adopted in all 3 platforms, depending on how you have architected and deployed your solutions or networks. So I'm not going to touch those because those are already covered wherever needed within these products. Similarly, for SecOps, there are again many other products, and I'm going to touch on XDR, XOR for security orchestration, automation, and response. XIM, the latest and greatest tool we have for the SecOps in Palo Alto Networks, and Cortex Cloud, which is previously known as Prisma Cloud. Now we have merged that into a SecOps platform. Now we are going to call this as a Cortex Cloud moving forward. And we also have a product called Cortex Expand. It is also referred to as attack surface management tool, which is also covered in XIM. So these are the products that I'm going to cover, and we're going to have more training options for this. Let's have a look at this one by one. The foundational level training, like I mentioned earlier, this is like a one fundamental level. This is like a baseline for anybody who want to start their career in cybersecurity. Not necessarily people from the fresh graduate, even professionals in the industry who are thinking they wanted to do some mid-career switch. Hey, I'm a web developer. I wanted to switch from web developer to become a cybersecurity expert. Where do I start? And we are saying we have digital learning in our LMS. You can go and do a self-paced e-learning. And we have an assessment in the digital learning itself. You can complete the assessment. There is no hands-on lab for this. We don't provide. And if you think if you are ready, you can go and take a cybersecurity apprentice exam. This is kind of vendor agnostic. We don't focus much on our product, on our solutions. The next level exam is cybersecurity practitioner, which means if we talk about network security and we will saying like we need next generation firewall in cybersecurity apprentice, whereas in practitioner we'll be saying, hey, we need to have one of the best of the breed we have in the industry. That is called Palo Alto Networks next generation firewall. So that's the difference between those two. One is vendor agnostic approach, the other one is practitioner approach. So depending on the level or where the people in the industry wanted to start their career from, they can take this. For network security platform, we're going to have one exam which is kind of covering the entire scope of firewall, Prisma Access, and Prisma SD-WAN. So again, there is no instructor-led training for this. There will be digital learning followed by assessment, and then one exam for a professional level exam. It's called network professional. Network security professional. Previously, when we launched, initially it was called network security generalist, but has been rebranded as a network security professional now. About probably like 2 days ago, this logo has been updated in our website. And if you log in our Pearson view or in our website, you'll be seeing this as network security professional. And for the SecOps, on the other hand, we're going to have two exams. And one is called Network Security Operations Professional, or older name is Generalist. For the Cortex Cloud, we're going to have Cortex Cloud Professional, which is launched yesterday. And this is very new, so I managed to get the logo and then updated this slide. And this logo will be updated soon. If you're referring to these slides after this, just wanted to give you a heads up. It'll be rebranded as a professional. And for this, SecOps professional, it'll be covering the domain from XDR, endpoint security, detection and response, security operation orchestration and response, and the XIM for the people who are like try to do like a basic terminology probably that I can say is SIM, next generation SIM you wanted to do, but of course this is more beyond that. It's called XIM. It's powered by AI and many other tools behind it. So one exam for covering XDR, XOR, and XIM is called Security Operations Professional. For Cortex Cloud, we'll be having a Cloud Security Professional. There is no instructor-led training for this. Once again, we have a digital learning and an assessment in the digital learning platform. You can test yourself before sit for the exam. For Cortex Expense, we have no plans to create a dedicated exam for this because we have attack surface management, as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, covered in an XIM. So we believe this is good enough for now. For the specialist level, and this is where instructor-led training coming in. So people like you, when you buy a solution, you are asking for hey, I just bought Prisma Access or SD-WAN or even Cortex XOR. I need a training. So we have instructor-led training for this. We have published this in our website. Our training schedules is also available in our website. There are more than 50 authorized training partners delivering this training across the globe. We have more than 192 certified and authorized instructors delivering these trainings. And you can attend the training with them if you're interested. Or if you think, hey, I bought the solutions, and when I bought the solution, it comes along with training credits. That means you can use those credits to redeem training from the authorized training partners. And you can learn the training. You can learn from the instructor-led training. It comes with hands-on lab experience. And after that, you can continue further reading with the digital learning in our digital learning management platform. I'll talk about this in the coming slide. We also have assessment for every single exam that we have. And then finally, you can go and take the exam. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have one architect level exam for NetSec and two architect level exam for security operations platform, which is one is covering XDR, XOR, XIM. One is for the Cortex Cloud. This is what we have in our roadmap for now, and roadmap may change. And by the way, we also will be having an engineer and specialist analyst level exam for Cortex Cloud under the specialist level. For Cortex Expense, we will not have any instructor-led training. We don't have any plan for now. We may change in the future if there is a demand we will create, but at least for now, we don't have any plan for creating an instructor-led training, but you can refer to digital learning. And of course, we have an assessment there. If you're buying this solution, if you're looking for a training, you can refer to the digital learning. And let us focus more on specialist level in this, because most of the audience here in this sessions falls into this category, which means you're going to design, deploy, configure, manage, analyze our solutions. And to start with, I'm going to talk about network security. And we talked about foundational level, fundamental level. Let's not repeat it again. Same goes for professional and architect. And we're going to focus on specialist level. For network security and next generation firewalls, we have two trainings of today. It's called EDU 210. This training will focus on design, deploy, configure, and manage Palo Alto Networks firewall. The next training is called EDU 330. This is about troubleshooting using Palo Alto Networks firewall. And we have another training. If you have an enterprise network with multiple firewalls, and if you have purchased Panorama for centrally managing all those firewalls, this training is still available. And previously, it's known as EDU 220. We have rebranded this training as Panorama Next Generation Firewall Management. And with a similar approach, Panorama previous name is called EDU 220. EDU 220, we have rebranded this with a full-fledged name because many people are saying, hey, the course code that you have just mentioned, it is difficult for me to remember, difficult for me to memorize. So we're giving you a full-fledged name. We do have a plan to do the same for firewall and troubleshooting in the coming weeks or coming months. And you're going to see EDU 210 will be rebranded as a different names in the coming months. Same goes for the troubleshooting. And currently we have PCNSE exam. If you are taking this exam, you can attend the training on EDU 210, EDU 330, Panorama, all three together, because all these three will be covered in the PCNSE exam. Or if you're saying, I just attended 210, can I take PCNSE? We are saying yes, you can refer to our digital learning on troubleshooting and Panorama elements before you prepare yourself for the exam. Once again, PCNSE will be expiring in July 31st because we have introduced a new exam called Next Gen Firewall Engineer. So this exam will replace any previously known exams. Okay. And we also have a new exam, another exam for network security is called Network Security Analyst. And there is a new tool in Palo Alto Networks, probably some of you very familiar with this, called Strata Cloud Manager. So Strata Cloud Manager is very similar to Firewall, but it's a tool that more powerful than Panorama because it has analytics, more powerful best practice analysis, more powerful policy, what we call recommendations. And the same tool is also used to manage Prisma Access and SD-WAN. So we introduced Network Security Analyst by including Strata Cloud Manager in this. And again, this is a very new exam. And the only resources we have for this exam, if you're planning to take this, is 210, 330, Panorama, plus Strata Cloud Manager in digital learning. You can also refer to that. Okay. And once again, Strata Cloud Manager is evolving. There are feature parity between Panorama and Strata Cloud Manager. SCM as of today cannot do everything that Panorama can do, but in the coming months, it will. Strata Cloud Manager will be doing all the features of Panorama plus many things that Panorama cannot be doing. Of course, there are many air gap environments where customers saying, hey, I still need to keep Panorama. Okay, Panorama will be there forever probably. And you can still using Panorama. You can still opt for Panorama if you wanted to go to that route. But Strata Cloud Manager will be offering more powerful features. Okay, Prisma Access. So for Prisma Access, previously we had a training called EDU 318. It's been discontinued. Now we are calling Panorama Centralized Network Security Manager because it's using Panorama to manage Prisma Access. The other training is called Prisma Access SSE, Secure Service Edge. And this is, if you ask me, I would say SSE is a subset of SASE. And the word, the alphabet A or the character A in the SASE is actually more towards routing and networking, which is covered in the SD-WAN. So without the routing and networking, when the traffic coming in, the tool called Prisma Access, what it does, it's going to have a look, what's happening, what am I supposed to do? So in this training, you're going to learn how to configure and deploy Prisma Access on specifically for a secure service edge domain or area. And this is purely using Strata Cloud Manager to manage Prisma Access. So if you think you wanted to attend a Panorama Managed Prisma Access, you can go for this training, Panorama Centralized Network Security Administration. If you wanted to go and attend Strata Cloud Manager or SEM Managed Prisma Access, you can go for Prisma Access SSE, configuration and deployment. Like I said earlier, previously the course code for this training is called 318. It's been discontinued. Now we replace it with Panorama Network Centralized Security Administration. 318 was a, I think, 4-day training, but now this is a condensed 2-day training. Day one, it will talk about what is Panorama, how do I use this to manage Prisma Access. Then the second day, it's all about Prisma Access, one crash course on Prisma Access in 1 day. Okay, 1 day Panorama and 1 day Prisma Access. So depending on how you plan to manage this Prisma Access, you can choose one of this training. If you're planning for the exam or preparing for the exam is called Security Service Edge, SSE, Engineer Level Exam. And as of now, we don't have plan to release analyst level exam. So the only exam we have as of today is engineer level exam. Okay, and it's pretty straightforward. Prisma Access SSE, the exam is called SSE, Secure Service Edge, Engineer Level Exam, which is related to the role called engineer. And of course, we also have digital learning and assessment in digital learning. And instructor-led training can't cover everything that the product is having. And so you also refer to digital learning before sit for the exam. And again, I'll talk about this in the coming slide on how to prepare for the exam. Now, let's have a look for what we have for Prisma SD-WAN as of today. Previously, the course is called EDU 238. Now it's rebranded as Prisma SD-WAN Design and Operation. It is still remaining a 5-day training. Now we have get rid of EDU course code called EDU 338. Full-fledged name is easier for you to understand what is this name referred to. Prisma SD-WAN referred to Prisma SD-WAN training. Prisma Access SSE refers to Prisma Access training. Same goes for Panorama and so on. So we will be getting rid of the course code one by one. The next in this line, EDU 210 and 330, we will replace these with the actual name also. And we are working on updating the course. Once the new updated version of the course is released, you'll be seeing the newer name there. So back to Prisma SD-WAN. So for Prisma SD-WAN, we do have a plan to release instructor-led, the exam, and it's coming on the way, hopefully by end of this quarter. But for now, we only have digital learning. We will have one exam for Prisma SD-WAN engineer, same like Prisma XSE, in just about a matter of time.